murder. Yeah, yeah. Coming up next on the Mental Health Matters with Marty show, featuring the Believe Center at Marcel, the power of reuniting families together. You don't want to miss this very important topic. Stay tuned. Good evening, everybody. Hello. Thank you for joining me again for this special edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty as we feature the Believe Center at Marcel. And we are so glad that you have joined us tonight. I am still your host, your wonderful host here tonight. Again, because you hear me brag about myself. And yes, I'm still Martina Sellers, coming to you live and in living color, all the way from Southern California, where the sun is always shining. We are so glad that you are joining us. We started this program 2 weeks ago and coming on Wednesdays, and we got so many great responses because we want to educate you and we want to continue the education of surrounding mental health and also surrounding foster youth, particularly in particular, those youth who are the unaccompanied youth that come across the border. We have seen it on CNN, and we want to help dispel the myths about those young people. Again, let's just a quick housekeeping rules. If you want to engage, if you're going to be engaging with us, please check out our Facebook page at Mental Health Matters with Marty or our YouTube page at the Marcel Media Group. I forgot my own company, y'all. Marcel Media Group on YouTube and Mental Health Matters with Marty. This is such an important topic that we're talking about. It's a serious topic, but we want to bring truth to light. And our discussion tonight, if we had to put a title on it, is going to be Pathways to Hope. Pathways to Hope. And as again, the power of reuniting families together. You know, there's nothing more important than children and families. I don't care what the home situation is like. All children desire to be reunified with their families, whether it's their biological mother, their biological father, or another family member of origin. Hey, Thomas, how you doing, my brother? Greetings from the DMV. Yes, man, I always appreciate you tuning in with us. And what we do is such great work. I think we've heard this misconception that all these children are coming and all these people are coming from the border. And what do we do with all these kids? My heart goes out to these children. We had Dr. Tricia Pegues on the show last week, and shout out to Kira Pegues, her daughter, who's a recent graduate from UCLA. And she had to go to a second best school. We get it. UC Berkeley, go Bears. But we do appreciate UCLA. Second choice, but nonetheless, we are so proud of her accomplishments, nonetheless. But hello, come on, but Brother Jeff, we appreciate you. Listen, but we want to share these things And those of you who are our regular listening audience, come on and support us. We love that. Before we go anywhere, I'm going to do this again. I got to give a shout out to one of our loyal, I have so many loyal followers and listeners, but she has been loyal from day one, and we appreciate her. Can I give a shout out of love to none other than Mrs. Mitchell? I appreciate her because she gives me wonderful critique. I just love her to death. And when I get back to Atlanta, we're going to Papa Do's so we can have some catfish and have some fried fish. So be prepared. We're going to Papa Do's for lunch. But I could not go on without saying to Mrs. Mitchell, I appreciate you for being in there and just sharing what we do. And it's good to know we have good people who believe and support the work that we do. So when we're talking about the power of reuniting families, too often we already know that there's a blended families that happen here in America. But now we're talking about these children. I can barely, y'all, I live in the outskirts for those who may not know Southern California. I'm about 50 miles from downtown Los Angeles, about 75 miles from San Diego, about 60 miles from Palm Springs, and about a 3-hour drive from Las Vegas. Y'all, if I don't put on my Thomas Guide, I'm dating myself. If I don't turn on my Waze app, y'all stop laughing at me. Don't let the gray fool you. Turn on my Waze app. I'm going to get lost. But these children are coming from Honduras. These children are coming from Guatemala. These children are coming from Costa Rica and some of these other places. Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras. There's one other one, and when we bring in our guest tonight, they're going to remind me. And they are getting to the borders. And then y'all, I've had the opportunity of engaging with some of these children. Oh my God, my heart just breaks. There's one little boy I just want to steal and put it yo no habla nada español, and el niño solamente habla español. So our translation, we will not get it. But you know what? You know what transcends any language? That's love. Love transcends everything. And I wanted to create this show to highlight the importance of the work that we do. And there's so many ways that you can give and support. We're going to talk about that later too, at the end of that. Authorine, hello. So glad you can join us tonight. Miss you. Hope all is well. But there's so many ways that you can support the great work that we do. But we don't want you just to support the great work. We want you to understand our mission. We want you to understand our heart. We want you to understand our passion in everything that we do. So I'm so excited to have our program director from the Believe Center at Marcel with us tonight. She is absolutely amazing, and I'm so glad to welcome her for the very first time, but it will not be her last time. None other than Mrs. Rosa Carrillo. Hello, Rosa.
Hello there. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing so well. How are you doing this evening?
I am well. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. Rosa, you are doing such a great work with the Belief Center at Marcel. And first and foremost, I want to publicly salute you and tell you how honored I am to have you to be a part of our Marcel family and the specific work that you do. So thank you so much for all that you do and the love and care that you give. Rosa, I want you
Thank you.
first and foremost, tell us who you are, kind of your background work and your passion. So, Mrs. Carrillo, tell us who you are.
Yes. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Rosa Medina Carrillo. I have been a social worker for the past 25 years. My
Wow.
career began with the Department of Children and Family Services in
Mm-hmm.
LA County,
Mm-hmm.
and where I worked in all different gamuts. And
Mm-hmm.
I took a leap of faith about 8 years ago, and I worked at the university through a Title IV-E grant, which is Kelswick out of UC Berkeley. Go Berkeley! Um,
Woo!
where where I was responsible for training incoming students through the MSW program,
Uh-huh.
and left there to come here
Yes.
to Marcel, and now here at Marcel and the Belief Center.
Wonderful, Rosa. Well, I appreciate you. What made you? You said with the Children and Family Service for LA County, we know that Los Angeles is the second largest city in the nation. So you were a part of. Trisha, stop it. Yes, love it, love it. It is LA is a complicated city and has many different sectors. But talk to me, what was your interest and loved about being a social worker that really was your passion behind becoming a social worker and then later training new social workers?
I think my love, and I'm going to get
Mm-hmm.
emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those children that came to this country when I was 2 years old and brought here
Wow.
with my mother, and
Mm-hmm.
came here and was given so much opportunity and so
Mm-hmm.
much love from different people of different
Mm-hmm.
races,
Mm-hmm.
that started from school to a
Right.
counselor to, our neighbors. I grew up in a low socioeconomic
Mm-hmm.
apartment complex in the city of El Monte. And my
Mm-hmm.
neighbors were African American. My teachers were Caucasians.
Mm-hmm.
The police officer who came into that apartment complex and just took it upon himself to, although we didn't speak the language, the smile.
Right. Right.
A smile is a connection. It connects the soul. It connects our eyes. And from there on, as you stated, you build the love. You build the love
Right.
within for your community, for your family,
Mm-hmm.
for who you are, and you bring that about. And I think that sort of sparked who I am today. My
Right.
mother, who was monolingual, only spoke Spanish and refused to learn English, which is so powerful to me now because she
Yeah.
wanted her children to be bilingual. But
Right.
she went out and she sold Tupperware and she sold Avon and she worked at
Mm.
factory stores. And, her love to just help and to be one and to give more. And I'll never forget what she once told me one day, and she said, "You want answers? Go knock at the door.
Mm.
Don't forget that." She also stated, and I hope I quote this correctly, the quote by our President John F. Kennedy Jr., who
Mm-hmm.
stated, um, "Ask what you can do for this country." And
Mm.
so to me, that is so prominent to this day
Yes.
because, the children that I've worked with in the past, and those
Yes.
children that I work with now, there is a huge difference. There's a huge
Yes.
disparity. And so
Yes.
now ask what this country can do for these children and in our
Mm.
path, and to lay that foundation of hope and to really understand where they're at and what we as a center, as social workers, as clinicians, as
Yes.
an agency can do to perplex these children into
Yes.
society, into different communities. What is our role and where will we take this to all together?
Wow, Rosa, so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Because you know what, you said it right, and I said it earlier. As I see those children when I come down to the center, and my heart just bursts with love. And you said it, even though you may never spoke the language then, it was the smile on the police officers, your neighbors, the teachers' faces that made all the difference because it said you're safe, you know and that's so
Absolutely.
important. We talk about it because of our profession, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and safety being very high on that needs. Everyone needs to feel safe, and when families feel safe, and we'll put it in the context of children feeling safe, oh my God, the connection then that happens is just insurmountable, and that the love, the smile supersedes all. Wow, wow. You know, I love that. And us being definitely of the, and I hate the term minority, but being of the population of people of color. It says, I have to be the advocates. Yes, we have to be the advocates for our children. LaDon,
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. We have to. We have to be the advocates for our children in that regards. Now we know that in our fields, especially black and brown, we don't make up the majority when it comes to social work. We don't make up the majority when it comes to being a therapist and even being in human services like that. Speak to us about the importance of cultural competency, especially in where populations such as Los Angeles in the or Southern, let me say just Southern California, where we have a larger Hispanic population and Spanish speaking population. I'm not going to say Hispanic because we have all cultures that come through here as well. And if I can say this also, Rosa, and population that I'm growing to understand is the Afro Latino community, or the Black Spanish speaking population that we often here in America don't get the opportunity to hear or learn about. But talk us about the importance in our culture today of cultural competency and being able to meet these children right where they're at.
Wow, that's a great question. In my 25-year span career,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've worked with many different individuals who
Mm-hmm.
are from many different cultures. And I think
Right.
what I learned what I learned the most is that although we didn't speak the language,
Right.
the smile connected us. That sense of
Mm-hmm.
knowing,
Love
okay,
that.
I don't know you, you don't know me, but through a smile, I hear you, I see you,
Right.
and I'm going to work with you. We're going to work
Ooh.
together to get you to where you need to be. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that at that time, but working with different people, it really spoke to me. I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Mexico. I am from Puerto
Mm-hmm.
Vallarta. I'm a Vallartense,
Mm-hmm.
but I am proud of who I am, but at the same time, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know um, different values from
Mm-hmm.
maybe people in from Honduras, El Salvador,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Guatemala, Chile. Um, but through these 25 years, I yearn that. I need to know that.
Yes.
It's part of humanity. You know,
Yes.
we are an ever so evolving society and community,
Yes.
and children of our, and I don't, it doesn't matter what race, what
Right.
culture you're from,
Right.
a child is a child. We have
Yes.
that. If we have that child here, why not help? They are our
Yes.
future. Let's
Yes.
invest time. Let's invest energy. Let me invest
Love
my
it.
time. How do I best help you? And I think for me, in my culture, you know, I had a very assertive mother and a
Mm-hmm.
father who told me that education is going to take you where nobody can. And my father
Mm.
told me, they can repo your car, they can repo your house, but nobody can repo your education. And
Come on, Dad.
that starts so minute because you plant that
Yes.
seed. You know, everyone takes their children to school,
Yes.
and in our
Yes.
drives to and from, we talk to our children about the importance
Yes.
of laws, about drugs, about, you know, the environment, about
Mm-hmm.
friendship, bullying. That's where it starts. And so
Mm-hmm.
if as parents we can do that, why can't we transcend that to other children? It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter where they're from, they're children and they need us. And so the
Mm-hmm.
need is there. How do we help them? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that is so monumental. I'll tell you why. Because as a community, everyone has a strength. Let's pull from our
Yes.
strengths together, you know.
Yes.
And that is monumental. That's how you can help and become a foster parent. You know,
Love it.
you can read to a child, you can teach a child how to organize, you can teach a child um, how to use a tool, how to
Mm-hmm.
just even take an escalator.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Wow.
and to me we have that. How do we
And
put that forward?
yes, and I love it. What you said were very simple things, and too many things I think that we take for granted every day. I love what you said. How to ride an escalator, how to use a tool. You know what we might now. Y'all don't want to put a tool in my hand. I'm gonna botch everything up. So that is not my gifting, Mrs. Carrillo. Not my gifting at all. But I can help you teach it and learn how to ride the escalator. I can definitely help you do something. But don't put a tool in my hand. But those are simple things that we take for granted a lot of times. And I love that you spelled it out so simplistically, and that we can definitely support these children in so many different ways by just giving. And so you got me so excited. Oh my God, I hear your heart. I hear your heart. Yes. And Trisha's in here just putting everything. Yes. You said definitely our values, meaning every heart matters. And in that, we
Absolutely.
part of that, and part of our acronym at Marcel is that I am heard. And we have an acronym and an acrostic for heard, meaning H for hope, E for excellence, A for accountability, R for respect, and D for diversity. And I love what you're saying. We provide these children with hope. We want to serve them in an excellent way. We want to be accountable to how we serve these kids. We want to treat them with respect. And we love the diversity that we have at our center, because that's just who we are and how we do things. Rosa, share with us, if you will, a story of one of these young people that has impacted you and really gave you the this is why I do what we do here at the Belief Center at Marcel.
Whew,
There's
need to
so
get
many.
myself together. There's
Right.
so many.
Hmm.
This weekend I had the privilege of reunifying and traveling with our executive vice president, Dr. Piggies, to reunify a sibling set of three to the state of
Hmm.
Tennessee.
Hmm.
And as we boarded the airplane, arrived to Dallas,
Hmm.
in lieu to our final destination of Tennessee. The three little girls, we took them and we had to literally run, oh, it felt like across the airport.
Hmm.
In that, we had to take an escalator up to the Skylink to get over to the other side of the airport.
Right. Right.
Um, and we're running, walking briskly up the
Right.
escalator. I'm walking with three suitcases. Um, Dr. Piggies has her suitcase, and the two children, and there's an
Right.
older 13-year-old who's in a world of her own. We start
Right.
to walk up the escalator, and I get up there first, and I turn around, and the little 4-year-old is shaking. She is
Oh.
literally quivering, shaking at the bottom of the escalator, and her 7-year-old sister tells her, "Come on, we have to go, we have to go."
Right.
And Dr. Pagis is telling her, "Come on, we have to go." And the little girl was shaking, and her 7-year-old sister just pushes her up the escalator, and Dr. Pagis drops everything to grab the child. The child did not know how to take an escalator, what to
Right.
do. She
Wow.
was crying,
Wow.
shaking. We finally got up to the top of the escalator, and she said that she had never seen an escalator and didn't know what to
Hmm.
do.
Yeah.
We got on the Skylink. We finally boarded our second flight. We get to the airport, and we have to take another escalator.
Mm.
And Dr. Pagis, being that social worker that she is, picked up the child in her hand and said, "Okay, we're ready to go." And I said, "No, we need to put her down. We need to teach her how
Mm.
to get on that escalator and off the escalator." And sure enough, we formed a line. We were like one duck in the front, the ducklings in the middle, and one duck at the end. And we talked this 4-year-old and the 7-year-old down the escalator, and we got down there. We threw a
Wow.
party down at the escalator.
Right.
Then we had to take another escalator. Um, do you know what this 4-year-old told us?
What's
"I don't
that?
need your help. I don't need your help because I know how to do it. And lo and
Right.
behold, she was able to get on that escalator by herself from top to bottom. And so when you ask to tell you a
Mm-hmm.
story, it's
Mm-hmm.
so insignificant to us
It's
getting
very
on or
significant.
off escalator, but it was so monumental. And I tell my
Right.
team at the Belief Center, we plant seeds, and we
Yes.
planted a seed,
Yes.
and that seed flourished and grew.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this little girl finally told us, I did it. I can do it.
Yes. Wow.
And so that is, it touches my heart. So
It does.
monumental because the team at Marcel is so supportive. And you ask, what is it that we can do? We give these kids
Mm-hmm.
hope by
Mm-hmm.
taking them and showing them. I also want to
Mm-hmm.
share just another quick story, real
Please
quick.
go right ahead.
This same sibling said the oldest girl is 13,
Mm-hmm.
and she turned over to me at the airport and she said, Would you translate something for me? And I said, absolutely. She looked over at Dr. Pegues and she told her, I want to let you know that I came into your center 24 days ago. I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to count.
Mm.
Now I know how to count from 1 to 100 in
Mm.
my native tongue and in English.
Mm.
And that brought me to tears.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Pegues just stared and said, wow. So
Mm-hmm.
when we say these children are heard, excellency,
Yes.
we are those.
Yes.
Accountability, we're
Yes.
not. We can help these
Yes.
children.
Yes.
Let's respect each other in our
Yes.
path and working with these people from different parts of the world, which make humanity, which is diverse. It's so
Yes.
profound. It'll perplex us, and we never know planting that seed where it's going to sprout up.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to see that tree sprout maybe 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we see these kids come on TV and say, I remember the center where I was at. I remember the individuals. I remember that teacher that took the time to
Yes.
sit with me
Yes.
and to teach me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have a wonderful team. I'm so blessed. Our teacher, one of our teachers, she is African American and she speaks
Mm-hmm.
Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And you would never know that. And the
Mm-hmm.
children just look for her every day. We have a wonderful nurse who the kids
Yes.
refer to her as La Doctora. It's
La
actually La Doctora.
what
La Doctora.
La Lactora? Okay, I would say La
La
When I see her, I
Doctora.
say, hey, La Lactora.
Yes,
I love it.
exactly.
I love it.
Um, these kids come in through the door very scared, don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
by the third day, they're buenos dias, good morning, good
Yes.
morning, how are you?
Right.
So you see that transformation in such a short
Yeah.
period of time, which is
Yes.
monumental,
Yeah. But Rose, I
which
think
is
that's it speaks to the great work of the team that you have definitely built down there. It speaks to the heart that we don't see race, culture, we don't see money, we see children. We see children who need help. We see children who are lost. And you know, if I could just say it this way too, for me it goes past just that. I see it as being spiritual because we're helping
mhm.
those that are less fortunate. And it's a life calling at this point. And I'm just so honored to be a part of what we do. Go ahead, because I know it's a calling for you too. We've had these conversations. Share with the, you know that
Absolutely,
you got me excited, Mrs.
absolutely,
Murillo.
absolutely. I think I tell my students, well, I told my students, they came in to become social workers and clinicians. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
could have gone to school, you and decided to become a biologist, a mathematician, a
Right.
scientist, a teacher, but social work called you. It is a
Yes.
calling. It touches us.
Yes.
It's something that I cannot explain to you. I think I'm a teacher. I'm a
Mhm.
photographer. I'm a
Mhm.
mathematician. I'm
Mhm.
a biologist.
Mhm.
I am not a doctor just yet, but
Mhm.
I think it brings all that because you have to have
Yes.
these conversations with these
Yes.
children,
Yes.
vocational. You have to teach them,
Yes.
and that teaching is very different for all of
Yes.
us. But I think to have that passion, to have the ganas, to sit there and to say, I want to learn about you. I
Yes.
want you to
Yes.
learn about me,
Mhm.
and I want to learn about you. How do we enmesh that together? How do we
Yes.
work together to bring it
Yes.
forward? And, you
Yes.
earlier, you talked about, how can someone become a foster parent? We
Right. That's
all,
good.
I, I come from strength perspective. I feel that
Mhm.
everyone on this planet Earth has a strength.
Mhm.
And we need to pull from that. We
Mhm.
need to look deep down within ourselves because it is a calling. Um,
Mhm.
Spiritually, it can
Mhm.
be, just humanity. I want
Mhm.
to share another story.
Oh,
These
please.
young ladies, their father is a pastor. Um,
Uh-huh.
and the 13-year-old would come in and say, and she would look a little down. And one day I talked to her and I said, what is it that the center can do for you? And she
Mhm.
said, you know, I'd like a Bible. And I
Mm.
said, oh,
Mm.
I I was taken aback by her
Mhm.
comment.
Mhm.
I didn't know what to do
Mhm.
because at our center, we don't have a Bible. I picked
Mhm.
up the phone and I called our executive vice president and
Mhm.
informed her, as I have
Mhm.
to check in with her on a daily basis. And
Mhm.
immediately went out, and the center got this young lady a Bible.
Mhm.
And to me, you earlier you were speaking about Maslow's hierarchy of need. That was
Right.
important to her. We met
Yes.
her need
Yes.
spiritually. And
Yes.
sometimes if we don't ask, even the kids that come in and they say, I have nothing to give you, but I want to
Right.
pray for you. I want to
Woo.
pray for the center. I want to
Woo.
pray for the owners of the center. And
Woo.
together we stood there, held hands. And do you know that this 17-year-old, this 13-year-old young lady, her parents prayed for the entire center? So when we look at it, we have to look beyond what this is. This is a calling, this is a call to
Woo.
everyone and humanity. Let's work together, let's hold hands. We
Yes.
talk about what is it that they need. You know, um, a backpack
Mhm.
is so monumental to them. Teaching
Yes.
them how to brush their teeth,
Yes.
and my team members at the team at Marcel have taken upon to
Mhm.
teach these children how to
Mhm.
hold a toothbrush, what a
Yes.
toothbrush is. And to
Right.
me, no amount of money in this world
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
pay for these little
Mhm.
lessons that are
Mhm.
so monumental in a child's life. And individuals out in the community, they
Mhm.
can be part of this movement.
Mhm.
So many kids come
Yes.
into the foster child welfare system, the foster care
Yes.
system, and not just this population, but children as a whole.
Right.
How do we help
Right.
them? How do we make
Right.
that change? I want to invest in you just the same way the community has invested in me and my
Right.
children, because it
Woo.
does take a village. It takes communities, different types of communities, to raise these children, because I have two children of my own, but I want
Right.
my children to be able to understand different cultures, speak different languages. How do we
Yes.
do that? What does that mean?
Yes.
And how do we transcend that? And
Yes.
sometimes they see you, Marty, and you're like, hola, buenos dias. Learning that, hola, buenos
Mhm.
dias. I want you
Mhm.
to teach me something.
Yes.
That is monumental, because together we're going to mesh that. We're going to bring that to these
That's
children.
right.
And not only in foster care, the children that we work with right now, What is that? What does that mean? You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have a movement, we have a generation of great
Yes.
children. Let's help them. Help
Rosa, you
them.
don't get me up here doing the
Let's,
ugly cry here in a minute.
well,
I love it because we hear and that's right. I hear your passion and Jonathan Davis. See Rosa there say preach Rosa. That's right
thank you,
because
sir. Thank you.
we hear your heart, and that's the heart, and you made it so plain about different things people can do for these children. I love that you said you can pray for these children. You can pray for our center. Listen, prayer, you and I are definitely people of faith, and we know the power and the transcending power of prayer. And you know what? Praying for these children, praying for our children at the border, praying for these children who are in these deplicable and horrible positions, but they had enough. I guess I get so emotional. Woo, okay, I'm fighting the tears because I see the work and the push that they had to come to get just to our center, and not knowing these we're leaving our lives in the hands of these people. We have no idea who they are, but we by faith trust that we're going to be okay. Woo! Mm.
Absolutely. Do you know how powerful that is?
That
Can
is
you?
so
I'm
powerful.
a parent. I couldn't leave my 4 year old. I
Mm-mm,
couldn't leave
mm-mm.
17-year-old. I couldn't leave my
Right,
14-year-old. But I understand that sometimes we just have to do that. And knowing that these kids come in through the doors of Marcel, the Belief Center, and with all the love, all the
mm-hmm.
patience, all the experience, that we help these young children go on to their ultimate journey of reunifying with either if it's their mother, their father,
Right,
their aunt,
right.
their uncle, an adult sister, an adult brother, a family member, is priceless. It's
Yes,
priceless in every way,
yes.
shape, or form. And there's many more stories behind these children.
Right, right.
There's many more experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but when they come in to meet with our clinicians, who work with these children
Right,
and teach them how to sit down,
right.
how to chew with their mouth closed, how to use a napkin. You
Mm-hmm.
talk about these conditions that um, they live in their own country and come
Right.
here, and if we teach them how to say please and thank you, we've done it. We've done it.
Yeah.
We've planted that seed. And
Yes.
I think that a community, earlier
Mm-hmm.
you talked
Ooh.
about being an advocate
Yes.
for a child. Look
Yes.
into your own community.
That's
What
right.
services are there? There's a CASAs. Be a child
Yes.
advocate.
Yes.
Start at your child's school. They
That's
have
right.
parent support groups. They have the PTA.
Yes. Yes.
There's a lot of children with educational disabilities
Yes.
and other types of disabilities, and these are the powerless. These are the
Yes.
children that don't have a voice. So how do you, and you're probably sitting at home, sitting in front of
Yes.
this computer hearing me, asking you, how can I help?
Right.
Start by doing that. Start Googling in your own
Love it.
community. If
That's
you're at
right.
your own
Start
church,
at home.
be a
Yes.
mentor.
Yes.
Yes. What does that mentor look like? Start that.
Yes.
If you're a young parent, if you're a single parent, if you're a married couple, if you're an empty nester, how do I start that? What does that look like? Let
Yes.
me begin. If you don't speak Spanish, how about hola, buenos días? How about
Right.
driving to work? Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? Right? I want to know about you. I want to know
¿Cómo te
about your
llama?
culture.
Right.
¿Cómo
Right.
te llamas? Sí, yo me llamo
Yes.
Rosa. ¿Y tú?
Sí. Sí.
Eh,
Martinez. See. Yes.
Martínez, mucho gusto.
Gracias. Uh-huh. See, but Rosa, you make it sound so simple. So talk to us about real quick the process. Casa court appointed special. Yes, yes. Come on,
Yes,
Don. You better
yes,
know about
yes,
Casa.
sir.
Yes, yes. Listen,
Yes,
he
sir.
has a beautiful story. He is another social worker and advocate in Michigan, and he's doing great work with helping men who are recovering from any type of, whether it's healing mentally, physically, from any type of addiction. He's just amazing, and we love that he's such a huge supporter of the Mental Health Matters with Marty show. So, LaDon, we love you, man, and we love all the work that you are doing to help men recover and evolve in that. So thank you. Rosa, what are some of the steps if people are interested in becoming a foster parent, specifically with the Belief Center? ¿Necesita que hables español? ¿Sí?
Sí, cómo no, sí,
No.
con
Oh,
mucho
okay.
gusto. Sí, so,
Oh.
te lo puedo explicar en español o en
Ajá.
inglés, como tú gustes.
Más
Bueno,
o menos.
te lo voy a explicar.
¿Español o inglés?
Sí, so, lo que queremos es que seas bilingüe. Si eres una persona bilingüe,
Ah.
puedes hablar español y hablar
Ajá.
English to help and assist these children. So there
Got
is
you.
a process. There is a process through the state that the
Mm-hmm.
Belief Center has to follow, and that consists of a person contacting myself or Marcel and
Mm-hmm.
coming in and speaking to us about their desire to be a foster parent. There are a
Mm-hmm.
couple steps that one has to take. So a
Right.
person would have to fingerprint, and somebody says, "Why do I have to fingerprint?" Because it's for your safety, the
That's
child's
right.
safety, and the
That's
state
right.
of California. And so we
Yes.
do that to protect everyone as a whole.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you have to come in and fingerprint. Then that would consist of coming into an orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Orientation, we give you some information, we'll give you statistics. I'll talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
really want to get to know you, know your
Mm-hmm.
side. And then
Mm-hmm.
that leads into the home study process. And
Okay.
people are like, what's a home study? So
Right.
you see myself on the screen, I see Mr. Sellers on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know a little bit more about Mr. Sellers. So I want
Right.
to know, does he have children? What's his
Mm-hmm.
employment? What does
Mm-hmm.
he do on the weekends? What does family
Mm-hmm.
life look like for you? And so
Mm-hmm.
as a whole, we really want to get to know you. We want
Mm-hmm.
to get to know you as you want to get to know the Belief Center.
Right.
And we do that through a series of three small interviews. And then
Mm-hmm.
we type up your unique story, and then
Okay.
we read it and we send it for approval because everyone is unique. And we want to
Yes.
know all those great strengths. We want to know about your support system. We want to know
Right.
all the great things that you're going to bring to us, right? And
Yes.
there's people that say, well, I'm not a parent. It's okay. You don't have
It's
to
okay.
be a
That's
parent.
good.
We're It's okay. You don't have to have your children. We're going to provide that training for you through an online training. We do
Mm-hmm.
in-person training. We have a
Okay.
great staff and clinicians to give you that support. So at the
Right.
Believe Center, we have an education center. We have teachers. We have a teacher's aide. We have
Yes.
a nurse who sees the children as well. We have
Mm-hmm.
clinicians who provide mental health services to the children
Wow.
and really work with the foster parents to teach them about sort of maybe a behavior a child is
Right.
experiencing.
Right.
Um, and we have a group of case managers, which are our social workers, who work diligently to reunify the children with their sponsor, to reunify them with their family. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the process that um, we need to conduct. But the
I
most
love
important
that.
process of this all
Uh-huh.
is that we want to take a look into your house. I
Mm-hmm.
think your house tells us a lot
Yes,
about
it does.
an individual. And
Yeah.
so we want to make sure that it meets those state licensing guidelines. If you have a smoke detector, a fire
Right.
extinguisher, do you have
Okay.
a pet? So it really, we want to make sure that when we bring these children and whoever we approve, the home meets those safety standards.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm so glad that you asked about that because at the Belief Center, we are preparing for open house. I call it open house, July open house. And
Yes.
so I'm inviting you and everyone in the Inland Empire to come on out and
Wow.
introduce yourself. I want to get to know you. I want to know about your strengths. I want you to come in, check out our center, and ask any questions that you may have.
I love that.
So,
So, Daryl, can you flash the phone number if they have any questions? We have our corporate address, but we're going to correct that and get the center's address down there. So you could give us a call at 909-323-7100 if you want to inquire about the open houses that we're going to have. And we will have more information on our next show that will have the flyer and definitely get that out to you. Or definitely you can look at marcelconsulting.com and look for the tab, the Belief Center, and that will have more information on there for you as well. But we would love to have you and anyone who's definitely interested, please give us a call with that. Wow, Rosa, you made the process. I think a lot of people are afraid about the process. I've been a foster parent myself, and I've been a foster parent even as a
oh,
single man. So I've had 3 foster kids before. Yes, and I did teenagers. Lord, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah,
wow.
one of them, she stole my car. I was like, help me, Jesus. With that, yes. Oh, thank you, Trisha. 3600 Lime Street, Suite 512, and that is in the beautiful city of Riverside, California. So definitely we have that, and we would love to have you. Now, just don't pop up. We're not gonna let anyone come. You might pop up, and we'll set you an appointment to come back with that because we have to protect the young people at the center as well. We appreciate it. Rosa, you have been so amazing. Oh my God, you're a natural with this. You'll be back most definitely. And we had, you had to follow Lupe, and Lupe was absolutely fabulous. So we'll let Lupe know that you did an amazing job with that. So thank you so much, Rosa. Parting words that you would like to share with us right before we get ready to close. I can't believe have done this for an hour, Rosa. Time go by so fast. You're so
Wow.
amazing. What would you want to share with
It
us right
sure
before in our
does.
parting? Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think it's very difficult for me, but I think faith moves mountains. There's
Yes.
hope in everything that we do.
Yes.
If we respect humanity as a whole, and this is what's going
Yes.
on. But I think for me, and what I want to just let everyone know, you have a strength. Look deep down
Mm-hmm.
within yourself and speak that. Use
Yes.
that to
Yes.
change, to bring movement to this next generation.
Yes.
I'm not a youngin, but I want to retire. So I want to invest that time and energy into
Yes.
children and
Yes.
help them. Um, so for me, it's having that faith because faith moves mountains.
That's right. Well, Rosa, we thank you again, Mrs. Carrillo. Muchas gracias por todos que explica. I'm gonna get my Spanish together for your
Yeah,
explanations
that's
and
very
sharing with
good.
us.
Sí,
Come on!
sí, muy bien. Gracias,
Gracias,
¿ves? Estás
gracias.
escuchando, estás
Sí,
aprendiendo.
sí, sí, más o menos,
Sí,
poquito,
¿no?
pero it's growing.
Sí, mucho más,
Sí.
mucho más.
Gracias, gracias. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us here at Mental Health Matters with Marty for this amazing show. We cannot thank Mrs. Rosa Carrillo enough for her beautiful work that she does with the Belief Center. And again, my name is Martina Sellers. You will see us in 2 more weeks as we bring on Jose and Regina as they're coming to share with us what they do. Because we again, the work is so great. You ask, and let me close with this today. What can you do? Rosa's already explained. Number one, you can become a foster parent. That would help out so many children tremendously. Number two, you can make donations. What do those donations look like? Listen, it can be a pack of pencils. It can be a backpack. It can be a blanket. It can be a stuffed animal. Anything to help these children. Donations are so needed. What we take for granted, these children would be so impacted positively in their lives. Number three, you could definitely become an advocate. As Rosa also said, share and become an advocate. Contact your local government representative and ask them, what can we do as a community to help make an impact for these children? Number four, you can pray. You can pray for these children. You can pray for our center. And then, more importantly, number five, you can teach your community about the importance of supporting these children. So, again, thank you for joining us for another edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. We are so glad. There are so many vlogs and these that you could have listened to, but we're so glad that you chose this one. So, Daryl, I'm going straight to the close. We don't want you to continue to suffer secretly in silence like these children. We don't want these children to suffer secretly in silence in the shadow of shame. But as I say each week, we want them to give them the voice because they are heard and every heart matters. And how do we do that? We make sure that they have the ability to speak up, speak out, and live. But more importantly, that they have the opportunity to enjoy their lives. We'll see you next time. God bless.